These people are really unlucky. If you think your day's bad, just watch this video. You probably can't tell, but that case is higher than the back window. I guess in those situations there's nothing else to do but walk away as though nothing ever happened. Pizza making is a fine art, and this person clearly doesn't know how to do it right. It was never going to work, but I didn't expect it to fall down like that. This man did the clever thing and made sure his dog was tethered to the post on his porch. The dog was just too excited to be out in the snow to care though.
Hey, come here, dog.
The broken bridge is an illusion. The broken iPad is not. Practicing sports indoors is never a good idea. Golf is probably one of the worst choices too.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Either this person's got some serious drifting skills or the road's really slippery. If only cars could drive like that. Boats don't normally just fall out of the sky. What? Luckily, there's a video, or nobody would believe it. This is what it looks like when things go right, but that's not what this video's about. So this is what it looks like when things go wrong. That's why you don't see roller skating waiters very often. We all like treats, but this girl wasn't expecting hers to be taken away like that. Better luck next time, I guess. It's generally a bad idea to show off in front of live TV cameras. Sure, it could work in your favor, but let's face it, the risks overshadow the rewards. And now, there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes mistakes just aren't your fault. This person didn't technically do anything wrong, but she still had to face the consequences. There's no good reason to try to wheel someone's brand new appliance up a drive all on their own without just waiting for their colleague to come help. It would have meant standing still for about 3 seconds. Being a waitress is stressful enough, but it's even worse when a famous person walks into the restaurant. It's best to stay calm and collected, but I can't say that's what happened here. It happens to the best of us. This is one of those moments where everything looks about as perfect as it can be. Not a single thing goes wrong, except the huge iron gate falling off its rails. Good luck putting it back up. When you're shifting around things at home, it's good to be careful. But sometimes tiny things can turn into huge disasters. The table's only touched, but it didn't pan out that way. There are days where nothing seems to go right. This is definitely one of those days. Did he end up catching up to it?
I guess we'll never know.
Getting a flat tire is about the worst luck you can have. But don't forget, things can always get worse. If you ever thought that rescue missions were there to save you, you might want to reconsider after seeing this. There is a right way and a wrong way to carry an open can of paint. This is the wrong way. The only thing that could have made it worse is if he'd slipped over. It's good to celebrate your achievements, but this isn't really the way you want to lift a trophy. I've never seen anyone go from so happy to so sad that quickly. You don't have to be good at sports to enjoy it, but a little bit of skill goes a long way. Otherwise, you end up looking like this guy. I'm sure getting rid of the roof wasn't part of the worker's plan, but he did a surprisingly good job. You've gone out, picked up your favorite pizza, and drove it all the way home. What's the last thing you want to happen? We'd all feel the same. I'd love to know the backstory behind this video. She's clearly a very capable surfer, and he's not. But why she's chosen to use her powers for evil is a mystery. This poor skier tried to tackle those steps at exactly the wrong moment. Little did she know that her every move was being recorded live for everyone to see. Every photographer spends their life looking for the perfect shot. This one probably thought a close-up of this skater was gonna be it. Well, it could have been. Too bad he's out of a job. What's the worst thing that could happen when you're out on your motorbike? I would have guessed a pop tire, but this definitely takes the cake. I suppose he has no other choice but to walk home in shame. VR always seems like the safer option. The only problem is, people tend to forget that there are real-life things scattered around them that they can't see anymore. We all know it's hard to get angry when a cute animal does something naughty, but this dog's clearly running over the wet cement more and more as the men try to stop it. It's funny for us, but only because we don't have to fix it. This might be the saddest thing you'll ever see. He was trying to move over 300 ounces of liquid chocolate. You can tell from the start it's not going well. I get why he got so angry. I'd probably lick it off the floor though. You might think everything is fine, but then life throws you a hill you need to climb. In this case, the hill was literal and steep enough to cause all these barrels to fall out of the truck. His only hope now is that they didn't cause any damage. There's nothing worse than dropping a pizza on the job, so he had every right to have that look on his face. But he was so careful. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do to stop things going wrong. Sometimes our cravings cause us to walk knee-deep in the snow for our favorite food. But that would be fine if the restaurant was open. You might have never realized this, but going to the hairdresser can be pretty dangerous. One wrong move from them, and you'll end up like this boy in the background. He definitely wasn't expecting to leave from there with a racetrack across his head. This is just about the worst place on earth to get stuck, and the worst position to get stuck in all at the same time. That was always a terrible idea.
Holy moly! Yeah, boy.
This woman doesn't look like someone who's ever tried to do this before. Still, it seems a simple task. Get the water off the roof. The thing is, she's clearly forgotten that water does what it wants to. It's a pretty big deal to appear on international television. If you have that opportunity, the last thing you want to do is make yourself look silly. Or do that. Yeah, at least he made an impression. You could say this guy's lucky he didn't break the glass, but maybe he would have preferred that because that way he can't walk into it again. Sometimes things just aren't meant to be. The same could be said about this science experiment. Maybe fate was trying to tell him something, or maybe it was a cheap pot. This automatic fishing machine is probably great, but it's obviously not designed to handle a fish this strong. Don't worry, someone's on the way to help. Or not. This is one of the greatest comedy sketches of our time, except that it's all a genuine mistake. See if you can count how many things go wrong from the moment he pops the balloon with the door. It literally couldn't have gone worse. We all make mistakes, and every now and then that means you'll destroy some expensive machinery at work. But this man took that to a new level. The boat's obviously a goner. Anyone could have predicted that. But he also forgot to put the handbrake on his forklift. Sometimes you do everything right, but things still go wrong. It's not his fault the road was frozen over. These people were trying their best to help out these marathon runners. Unfortunately for them, they haven't exactly mastered their water grabbing technique. It's clearly not the first time it's happened, and I'm very sure it won't be the last. Most drivers will have 1 or 2 bumps and scrapes in their lives, but it's best to avoid driving into a parked car, especially if it's a Ferrari. Things aren't looking good for either of them. Things go wrong at work all the time. You just better hope you're not working with something expensive, like a whole lot of TV screens. He never stood a chance. One wrong move and he was on the floor with every display TV in the whole store. Some people say that humans aren't evolving fast enough to keep up with technology. The best example of that theory is actually the way people relate to glass doors. We're definitely not used to the modern world yet. There are ways to set up your camera to make sure it doesn't fall over. This isn't that way though. Don't let your kid drive heavy machinery, and definitely don't let them do it near your truck. You don't need to be a builder to know that what these guys did was wrong. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have been resting on the wall, but maybe a bit of cement to keep it all together would have helped a lot too. You can always recover from a bad day by relaxing with some friends. Unless you're these guys. Not quite the front row seats they were expecting. True samurais are always aware of their surroundings. Clearly this kid needs a little more practice. He hadn't even glanced around to spot potential problems, and his potato foe got away without a scratch.